kids. Mr. Tim with you today. How many of you like superheroes? That's what I thought. Well, today I want to talk to you about a group of people who are viewed as heroes by children all over this world. These guys are thought to be heroes because they are big and strong, and they can fix things. They can lift you high in the sky like a rocket ship. They can push you faster on the swing than anyone. They protect you from bad guys, and they scare away all the scary monsters at night so you can sleep. Have you figured out who I'm talking about yet? Fathers. That's right. I want to talk to you about how important fathers are because today is Father's Day. Or as my daughter Emma says, Dad's Day. Today, young people, I want to talk to you about what makes a father a godly father. Maybe you have some ideas. I wish that I could really hear them because I know that you would have some good answers. I have made a list, and I want you to try to decide if these things make a father a godly father or not, okay? How about he washes the car? Does that make him a godly father? No, that doesn't make him a godly father. It's good to wash cars. He gives big bear hugs. Does that make him a godly father? No, but a godly father does love his children. He can throw a football real far. That doesn't make him a godly father either. That's just amazing. He makes lots of money. Does that make him a godly father? No, that doesn't make him a godly father either. He reads you bedtime stories. That's a nice thing to do, isn't it? But that doesn't make him a godly father. And as I said, those are all good things, but they are not what makes a dad a godly father. Those can be things that a good father does, but what does it take to make a dad a godly father? That's what I want to talk about today. First, he has to be like Father Abraham, who we've had many lessons about. And he has to be like Father Abraham and have faith in God. That means that he has to listen to God and believe or trust what God says and do what God says. Abraham's faith was like second nature to him. That means if God said something to Abraham, he did it. And if God said not to do something, Abraham didn't do it. And it didn't matter what God wanted him to do, Abraham trusted in the promise of God. God once told Abraham to leave his home and go to a new land far away that he had never seen before. And he would make him into a great big family. And you know what Abraham did? He packed up everything. He left everything that was familiar to him, and he went. And he'd never seen this land before. God told Abraham he was going to have a child in his old age. Abraham was way too old to have a baby, but Abraham believed God's promise. Then, you know what happened? Abraham and Sarah had a baby. Then God told Abraham, after Isaac had grown up, that was their baby, to sacrifice his son Isaac to him. That meant put him to death on an altar. And do you know what Abraham did? He went. He went to go sacrifice his son Isaac. But God stopped him when he saw the faith that Abraham had, and he provided a ram instead for the sacrifice. So a godly father must have faith in God and trust him enough to do what God says no matter what. Secondly, a godly father must love God and his family sacrificially. What does that mean? Well, in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25, it says, "Husbands, love your wives." Now, not only do husbands have wives, but usually they're fathers too. And so that's why I'm using this verse today. But it says, "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." What did Jesus do for his church? He died on the cross for it, didn't he? And so Jesus, he gave everything he had. Did he want to do that? Well, yes and no. He didn't want to experience the death, but he knew that he had to so that people could be saved from their sins. So Jesus was willing to give everything, including his life on the cross, for you and for me, so that everybody in the world can be forgiven of their sins. Likewise, a father must give give his all for his family, he must be willing to sacrifice and sacrifice everything. And that means that he has to work hard. He has to take time to be with his family instead of doing the things that he wants to do, even if he doesn't like, and do things that he doesn't want to do, even if he doesn't like it. That's what it means to sacrifice for his family. Lastly, a godly father must teach his children to follow God. Proverbs 22 verse 6 says, "Train a child up in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." That's what God wanted Adam and Eve to do, and that's what he wants every parent to do today, is to teach their children to be followers of God. And so that means that a godly father should take the time to read the Bible to you, teach it to you, and make sure you come to church to worship God and learn about Him. Fathers are very special, and they are a blessing from God. God has made them the head of the family, and we should help them be godly fathers by respecting them. And so I want you to be real good today for Father's Day and every day, not just on this day. And I also want you to remember Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. This is our memory verse for this week. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right." That's a pretty short, easy one, isn't it? So let's say it again. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right." So I hope you guys have a great Father's Day with your dads this Sunday. And remember, we have a great Heavenly Father. And see you next week. See you later.